this used to be at one time, a floor-to-ceiling retail environment, but also the center of the Dayton Hudson department store company. We've converted this into retail on first and second floor and the basement level. We call that the public realm. And then the floors above that, third floor on up, are office spaces. So we're really excited to show you some touch points that we've been successful in hanging on to during the conversion. People will see some cues that will say, I remember that, the chandeliers, oh, I remember that. And we wanted to hold on to that, but then also make it function like a new building. All of the electrical is brand new. All of the mechanical is brand new. All of those things that it operates a building, it functions like a brand new building, but it's kept all of the historical warmth of the original building.
I'm excited. Let's go look at it.
Great.
Thanks.
Let's take a walk.
People were asking about these pieces. Were they always like that?
Yep, the columns are all original. One of the things that we worked out with the State Preservation Office was making sure that these columns were still in the public realm and still visible. And we were always working back and forth, well, how much square footage does that take or give to the rentable space? And at the end of the day, I really like how it's become a nice feature. And
just the light wells are new, but everything else is original from the old support systems, and these people have been asking about that.
Gensler Architecture designed, was the architect of record here, and I think they did a really nice job of using different light elements, and we'll show different light elements, where it's bright and cheerful, but not a lot of glare. There's not glare. So I think they did a good job in staging the lights.
So everyone is talking about this wall on the Skyway, right? And what's on the other side of the wall? So we're going to get to see what's on the other side of the wall right now. All right, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Look at how great this looks. Tell me a little bit more about the way they restored these and reconditioned them.
So one of the things we had to do was introduce new material that related to the old history of the building. So this is all new. And this is a bespoke design that relates to other design elements that are repeated in other places in the building. But this whole area here, the voids in the floors as they dance their way down to the lower level, is new. This was a lot of engineering. If you can see, the columns here are existing columns. They maintained, as we were taking apart the building, we had to reshore these columns so that they would stay in place. This straddles between the old building that was built in the early 1900s and the concrete building that was built in the 1920s, 1930s, and so on. They really, step by step on this thing, they were very thoughtful about how to maximize space.
Amazing. Well, this staircase is pretty impressive, and I know it leads to my favorite section. So I'm anxious to get down to the old Jb Hudson Space and see it. Are we going there next?
Let's do that.
Is it the vision of the project to have like tables here? So behind all of these different spaces will be different smaller food vendors, and then there'll be like a common area for people to eat. Is that the vision?
This is, more of a public realm seating area, dining area. All around us right now and under construction is close to 55 individual vendors that'll comprise the Dayton's market. And that's everything from a taco to a fish sandwich to chocolate malt to some of the best burgers in the world, but many different dining options, shopping options again between here and the Makers Market upstairs. I think the one thing that we're really proud of is this grand staircase that comes right off of Nicollet Mall. So pedestrians on the mall, shoppers on the mall, be able to have this great vista as they come down the open windows, and then have an opportunity to come down to the grand staircase here and visit the market.
So now this is all going to be just basically food, beverage, socializing, public space.
Primarily on this floor, yes. And then on the street level over on 7th Street as well. There's going to be a connecting point to that as well.
Kind of like in the old days, you could go from bedding upstairs into women's clothing. It's going to be a similar thing.
Exactly. So let's take a look upstairs. I'll show you where the chandeliers wound up.
Okay, that's great. Wow. So this will be totally open to the public.
It absolutely is.
It's incredible.
It'll flow all the way through. And then from the street level food court is on the other side of that large door, right from Mary Tyler Moore's corner.
Yep.
You'll flow right on through.
And what will this space be used for?
This is what we're calling the Maker's Market. So it'll be a number of different kiosks, kind of standalone pop-up stores, but specializing made in Minnesota items. So, you know, some of these we've had discussions with. It's not formal yet, but I guarantee you're going to recognize almost every brand name in the store as a made in Minnesota product.
So it'll be like retail, small scale, opportunity for individual artisans, people of color, vendors.
Absolutely.
That's a big focus of this space?
Absolutely, and we've talked to a number of those vendors that have expressed genuine interest in setting up retail sales in this space right here.
And it'll all be under the backdrop of these beautiful historic pillars and the chandeliers that have been restored.
The cornice work, and of course the famous chandeliers that were over in the cosmetics section, the ladies' shoes section. So it definitely now can be seen, and we're taking advantage of these great vistas from Nicollet Mall. We'll open up these windows and people along Nicollet Mall will get to experience some of this great scenery.
And one of the things too that's nice about having the Maker's Market concept is as these stores become more robust, they'll be able to matriculate into other spaces.
It's like a food truck turning into a restaurant. You're hoping that these Maker's Market spaces will turn into retail?
Yes.
And the ownership is going to try to facilitate and help them grow their
Very
businesses.
good analogy, absolutely.
That is.
That's great.
All right, let's go take a look at the Jb Hudson Space.
Finally. Wow. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. I don't ever remember seeing it like this. I don't remember the floors being like this.
So for years and years and years, there was a red carpet over this whole thing.
That's right.
And nasty old red carpet, and the walls were painted. The stone was painted red. So we found a company that would put this paste on the walls, come back about 30 days later, peel it off, and there it is, all nice and fresh.
Incredible.
So, you know, we made sure all of the tiles were in place. We did do something in the vestibule area. We'll walk over there for a moment. But really what we'd like to have is it's a perfect place for a large restaurant. It's a perfect place for multiple retail tenants.
It's a perfect place for a jewelry store.
It's a great place for a jewelry store.
Is there a safe in this space?
Yeah, there is actually.
Oh, really?
It's right here.
Let's see. I remember this. I always brought my watches here to be fixed and jewelry to be cleaned. Wow, look at that.
There's the vault.
See, it should be a jewelry store, Don.
I couldn't agree with you more.
It's really great. I wonder what someone would do with this. It would be a nice bar, I suppose.
Yes, it would.
It's really beautiful. I think a lot of people will have memories of purchasing jewelry for their family and friends here, and they will remember it like I do. It's incredible. It's even better than it was as I remember it.
Well, the vestibule is going to blow you away. This is...
Wow.
All right, so there's a story about this.
Incredible.
Lisa, for years and years, this was all just painted. We didn't even know that there was glass back here. When we did the demolition of the mechanical systems, we had to get back. And when we got back there, we noticed, wait a second, that's actually glass. So we stripped all of the paint off and we built a light box behind there, and come to find out there's art glass.
Beautiful.
And it's never been shown that way. At one point in time, there was natural glass showing through, light showing through. So that's one of the things that we restored here.
What about these medallions?
Medallions are original, they're not replaced. That one's actually functional in the sense that you need to have some transfer air flowing in and out, so that that actually has a job to do. But the rest of this is, we touched lightly. There wasn't much that we had to do here.
I bet that SHPO and the State Historic Preservation Office are thrilled with the way this looks.
They love this.
I mean, you wouldn't have known you'd uncover these really unique things.
All right, so really this is just rental space over here.
Towards the shoe section, Don. Don't underestimate women's shoes.
Towards the shoe section. But let's talk about the office lobby. One of the things is, from a design standpoint, was a discernible place of change.
Okay.
Okay, we're going from public realm into office realm.
Got it.
So people who are tenants or seeing people who have space in here migrate into this area. Security desk. The designers really hit it out of the park with creating a different experience, ceiling experience, but still maintaining all of the historical significance of the columns and the capitals and the lighting of it, with sort of this peekaboo scenario with the Oculus rings and lighting those capitals. I think they did a really nice job with the lighting.
The tile work is really incredible.
So this was actually a picture that was found of the early Dayton's company, the dry goods store, and then we pixelated that onto ceramic tile.
It's really beautiful.
So, would you like to see Skyroom?
I would love to.
Let's do that.
The views from here are really incredible. I guess now that the north end of Nicollet Mall has really developed quite a bit, the views are pretty stunning, especially that outdoor turf space at the Y. Love it. So you kept the tray ceiling look.
Yes.
And just kind of gutted out the 1980s salad bar.
Correct.
So the ceiling and the ceiling design are all tagged historic.
And it's really stunning, and someone will love to work in a space that has this really neat design.
It's the only space of this type where you get 3 walls of full height glass of this elevation and no columns in the middle.
Right.
There's no other space in the Twin Cities like this.
Yeah, it's really stunning. And it makes sense that people would want to put a stamp on it that's their own, yet it has a lot of the original look to it. Mm-hmm. It's really cool.
Let's bring you over to maybe some other place, or another spot here that you might be familiar with.
Well, this was the exit to the salad bar.
That's right.
This is the best salad bar in the Twin Cities.
I feel a theme coming on here. Oh, this is the piano bar. Look at that. It would not be graceful for me to jump up there. It might be graceful for you guys to do that. Look at that. So I'm sure people have really major memories of hearing Lori Line play her piano right here. So you kept the original space so people could see it.
The stage, yep.
Somebody wants to put a piano up there, that'd be
That
awesome.
would be really great. Of course, that piano player would have a spectacular view.
Fantastic.
Really fantastic. So, Don, this is the Old Oak Grill Room space. Tell me a little bit about what you think might happen in this space.
Well, I think there's a couple of things that that we aspire to have happen. Of course, the marketplace is going to have an influence on it, as well as the historic requirements. We are all of one mind to keep this as authentic as possible. The fireplace, which works and will continue to work, won't change. We can entertain whether it's an office space use or some gathering area. Hans, you hear about folks' interests as well, and
Sure,
What do people tell you?
We do. We've had some interest in some type of occupancy or configuration where this returns as a restaurant, but it's really kind of an evolving thing based on different needs of the end users that will eventually occupy this floor. But in the meantime, we are absolutely doing everything we can to maintain this cherished piece of history right here. So we're cleaning the space, we're keeping humidity levels correct, we're doing everything we possibly can to keep this in immaculate condition while we develop further ideas for the space.
I'm in here, all I can keep thinking about is the meatloaf and the Chinese chicken salad. So, I mean, if I were working in here, I'd be thinking about food nonstop.
Wild rice soup.
Wild rice soup.
Wild rice soup.
Especially
and
today of all the days, yeah, as we tour the space. I mean, I used to sit at a table right here, so I really like this space quite a bit. Looks a lot smaller with no tables in it, doesn't it? But I think the public will be really happy to see that even though you were not ordered, directed to keep this space as is, it looks pretty similar, and hopefully someone will come in and do something great with it.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Thanks for showing me this. What haven't we seen yet? How many square feet is the building?
We're just at about 1.2 million square feet of total project.
1.2 million. So can you put that in perspective for people that don't even know how many square feet anything is?
Well, typically what you see downtown in all of these skyscrapers, these are all nearly 1 million square feet in size. So we are in overall project size the same as a lot of these big skyscrapers downtown.
So it's as many square feet as IDS plus some, and only 12 stories and 11 stories and 8 stories.
That's right, that's right. So we sit a little lower, but we absolutely take up more ground space, more land space than.
Does that include the parking too?
No, the project, the parking shop is in addition to.
Is in addition, so it's really quite a significant space.
Right, yeah, it's a big project.
Yeah, it's incredible.
One of the unique things about this building is it's got a lot of square footage, continuous square footage per floor. So if you have a tenant that's a large square footage user, wants to keep everybody on the same floor, we can offer 90,000 square feet plus.
I would love to see what one of the spaces looks like.
Well, we can take a look at a couple of different things. I'd like to show you the 4th floor restrooms, the Art Deco restroom.
Everyone wants to see the Art Deco bathroom, me included.
We can go see 5th floor, which has not been leased yet, but is trimmed and ready.
Great.
And we can see a spec space.
That would be great. Let's do it.
Okay.
Well, here's some original hardwood floor.
This is 4th floor.
So this would have been specialty sizes, lingerie, swimsuits. Wow. Look at this.
So when people start thinking about, well, is there enough windows?
Look at
You
this.
can see that this is pretty much all windows.
It's all windows. I love that you kept the floors, so someone who wanted to lease this space could have you refinish these floors.
Absolutely. It'll be a great opportunity.
It's really great. But anyone who wanted to lease this space would have incredible windows onto IDS and the surrounding properties.
Lots of natural sunlight.
Tell me a little bit about, in this kind of post-COVID era, how you think people are going to work.
Well, a couple of things that we have found that we need to, one, respond to, or two, fortunately, are already in that space, is indoor air quality. So we already had a bipolar ionization filtration systems and upgraded air filters in the base building, but in our tenant spaces, our spec spaces that we're building, we're adding more of that same kind of air purification. The other thing is brand new ductwork everywhere, so we don't have old contaminants. The other thing is spacing and changeability. Some of the spaces are containable, so that if there is a problem, we can bulkhead that off, clean it, and that doesn't take down all of the rest of a tenant's operations.
They're severable.
They're severable, exactly. And then some of the new trends in office system furniture used to be high concentration. Now you can still have high concentration when the community gets to that point of comfort and the risk goes down. But in the meantime, there's these baffles that are architectural baffles that slip in and provide that kind of safety as well. So furniture is responding, air quality is responding, touch-free surfaces. You've noticed that we've got destination dispatch for our elevators, those type of things. So a building that can operate like a new building, but you're still dealing with historic and comfort and that kind of environment. That's basically the space we want to be in. Do you want to see the restroom?
This space looks fantastic. And imagine once someone leases it and you redo it, it's just stunning the condition that it's still in. And now you know why people have such strong feelings about it.
Well, we like it. It's nested inside of the fourth floor office space. So when a fourth floor tenant, grabs this area, they're gifted this as well. And
they'll want this.
Yeah.
That will be a draw for the space.
Yeah, I think so.
So hopefully everyone can get a good look at how it looks and not worry that it's been demoed out like the space we just saw, because it's going to be preserved.
It is going to be preserved.
And it's worth preserving. It's incredible.
The spec spaces, are important for a building like this because people want to know when the owner contributes X dollar amount per square foot for a tenant build out, what does that mean? What does it look like? So when we build a spec space and it's exactly where that dollar amount is, that's the clearest answer we can provide. For X amount of dollars per square foot, you get everything that's in that space. Then in their minds, they can start figuring out, well, what does that mean to my space? We're talking about however many square feet we're dealing with.
So we often hear that term used to describe buildings that are going up with no tenants in them. Spec office buildings or spec spaces, but that's not really the context of what it means here. What it means here is we want to show you what your space will look like. So we saw what an unbuilt out space looks like, and then you would say for X amount per square foot that the owner would pay, this is what it would look like.
Right, and then also we found in this marketplace and other marketplaces as well, that some tenants, and particularly coming out of COVID, they're wanting to be able to have quickly deployable space. And so sometimes if we have this and a couple of other similar spaces, and it's designed with all of the features we've been talking about for COVID responsiveness, they'll say, can we move in tomorrow? Well, sure. You can take some of the space and move right in. It's move-in ready.
But the purpose of it is to show people what it would look like, kind of like a model home.
A qualitative demonstration.
I stole your line, right?
Oh, it is. It's very much. It's the model home. It's. At times, people can kind of have a problem with looking at vacant shell space, using their imagination a little bit to say, what could this be? And so what we've done is we've moved forward and said, this is exactly what it can be, and I think you'll be very impressed.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it. So how much of a floor did you build out? How much space is this?
This is only, between the two spaces, between 35 and 40,000 square feet.
So it's a lot of space. I love this.
Yeah, about a little shelf.
Yeah, this is great. Well, because workspaces these days need kind of a break space, a thinking space, a collaboration space. This is really cool. It was a good way to use the really interesting old floor, but put a new twist on it. Really nice.
This is fun, and this is the back side of the building, but we've done some really, I think, creative things with the space to take advantage of the area. So left a lot of the brickwork.
You can see what it would look like, but still it has some of the old historic character in it.
It does.
So this is common space for tenants?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is with how design for interior spaces have sort of opened up the open area for working. There was a need for a desire for people to have a place where it's just head down, no talking, quiet space.
Oh, interesting, like a library.
And that's what this is for. It's not a place to congregate and have discussions. It's a place to just contemplate and have a quiet zone.
And anyone who works in the building can use this space?
Yes.
It's really great.
Yeah, I think it's been pretty well received. There was a lot of focus on the colors, the design of it, to have it feel like a library, but still have some of the natural light come in. I think it really works from an architectural standpoint. And frankly, when you come here, you do want to be sort of contemplative and quiet. It works like that.
This interior space is stunning, though. I would want to be in here too.
Yeah. So originally this was more office, but this was a failing structural building, a pillbox. And we investigated the worthiness of the walls and the ceiling and so on. And it just wasn't sustainable from a structure standpoint, so we tore it down and built this new pillbox in its place. And in order to do this, it changed the weight requirements. So on the floors all the way down, all of those columns got enhanced to carry the additional load. So just, this room itself required a lot of other structural work to make it work. But I think it's worked out well. We got the elevations right. We had some very interesting elevation changes on the roofing, and we kept the perimeter balustrade details. And this has been a happy space.
I think some of the best vistas in all of downtown Minneapolis. I mean, you really get a chance to enjoy some of the premier architecture of the downtown skyline from this vista point.
Let's go outside and see what it looks like. We're lucky. It's a nice, warm winter day. So the best part of this for me is that I get to look at the Old Dayton sign that was uncovered in the construction, right?
That's right. That's right. For years, it was covered over with some panel, and we chipped away at it a little bit, and it's like, look at that. And then we looked at the historical pictures. It's like, oh, there's something more significant there. So we were lucky on that.
Do you think anyone even knew this rooftop existed? I don't think many people even knew there were multiple buildings, but just share a little bit about what this was.
Well, this was just a roof. I mean, there was nothing more, about it. It took, the vision of Gensler, but also Brian Whiting with Talos to see where the value is in the opportunity and how can we deliver this.
Well, and how much Minnesotans love to be outside.
Yeah.
Every opportunity they get, we as Minnesotans, we like to be outside, so.
And the view is really incredible. So you have some of the old architectural detail, but then you can see the WCCO sign on one direction, the beautiful crystal court, and then all the way down all of the new Nicollet Mall. It's really incredible up here. And I don't know that anyone knew this existed, and now it'll be in a really amazing place for people to congregate when we're able to congregate again.
Absolutely. I think that this is a place where I intend to make some great memories.
And so, because I know someone's going to ask you this question, maybe just share the total project construction cost with us so we can get a sense of the number, and then also what a large number that is, maybe in comparison to other projects you guys have worked on.
Well, this is on the large end of anybody's scale. And from a construction standpoint, there's in excess of $200 million worth of construction-related work that has taken place or will be taking place in the tenant improvement work. Thankfully, this also benefited from 20% historic tax credit on the federal side and another 20% tax credit on the state side. So that is, you can't underestimate the importance of the historical tax credit program. And I know at the state level, that's important to make sure that stays. Because this is one of those examples of how that particular program has worked and hopefully will work in the future.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, because the potential elimination of the state historic tax credit is a big issue for people who are doing preservation around the city and in the state. Would the project have happened but for the federal and state historic tax credit?
Would have been dramatically different. I mean, a lot of the not just the things that you see that are historical preservation items, but other general qualitative things would have been diminished as well.
So when you added up the purchase price of the land, the purchase price of the buildings, and the renovation costs, we're looking at a $300+ million project.
That's correct.
And what do you think this will pay in taxes on the commercial side when all is said and done?
Well, after we hit our lease-up period, after we're actively producing, this project will probably be at the top of the list in terms of what it pays in property taxes. It'll compete with all the rest of the Class A buildings in town.
So give everyone an idea of what that number is.
Well, per square foot, I want to say that's in the $4 to $5 a square foot range.
So that we're talking about over $5 million a year in property taxes, not captured in a tax increment district, but available for the cities, the county, schools, and parks to add to their tax base.
That's correct. And as is where is vacant condition prior to the redevelopment, this was probably producing around $1 a square foot in terms of annual taxes.
So I would view that as a giant win-win. No city subsidy to the project, a tax credit that we need for preservation purposes, and a massive amount of private equity.
That's right.
Yeah, seems like a good deal to me. So Don, everyone's probably thinking to themselves, how much patience will the ownership team have for coming back to downtown? It's been a really hard year for retail, for business, for small businesses. I think there's a concern, yet the city is very resilient. And so we know this too shall pass. Cities are the future, transit is the future, and having people congregate in downtowns we know is the future. Is that what the people who have been working on this project believe? Because that's what we believe as a city. And in fact, the mayor and I and others, we believe the key to a successful downtown is public safety. And then after public safety, public transit, public realm, and all of the things that make people excited about living and working and playing downtown. What's the view of the project team on the future of downtown?
Well, I think teamwork is at the very top. And our ability to make good on the promises that we had when we represented the work and how this place was going to work and feel and appeal to folks. And we need the partnership with the city all the way through on this to make sure that we're representing a good, safe community and a place to move your business, and that we're all in this together.
Well, we believe we're all in this together at the city, and we're just really grateful that Transwestern and 601 companies believed in the city as well, because they believe in urban areas and they believe in cities, and we can work together on the challenges that we face as a city. But this kind of project at the corner of Main and Main, 8th and Nicollet, kind of right downtown, 7th and Nicollet, and this beautiful historic structure that has so much history for so many people in our community, they're excited about it. The public is excited, and that's why this tour, even though it couldn't be in person because of the pandemic, really I think will inspire people to be able to come downtown and see it as soon as it's all safe for all of us to be with each other again.
That's great to hear. Thank you so much.